Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome to our second leg with the brand new working title and indie build Boeing 707-300. We're going to continue our trip across the Pacific from Honolulu to Tokyo, and this time we are flying the 707 version with an FMC on board, so that we've seen both of them in action, both the INS in the previous video and now the FMC. Now this one is going to be a 7.5 hour journey all the way from Honolulu to Tokyo, and back in the day of the good old Boeing 707, Pan Am actually used to fly to Tokyo Haneda Airport, which was back then called the Tokyo International Airport. So if you're like, but I know that Pan Am flew to Narita, then you would be right, from about the 1970s-ish on when they used the 747s to get there. But the 07s actually did fly to Haneda back in the day, and that's what we are going to do. So follow me inside, and then let's go ahead and get our 707 ready for today's ride. Now we're going to start this one with the cockpit safety inspection, which is emergency flap switch off. Then we got the landing light switches off, the landing gear lever is down, the radar mode selector is off, and our transponder is off as well. Now from there we are moving backwards to the galley power switch, which is off. Then we can move the flight engineer switch back a little bit, and the electric hydraulic pumps are off, and the fuel dump panel is closed. Alright, cool. So let's move to the back over here. Our circuit breakers are all checked and in. Then we can have a quick look at the voltage, which is looking good. Battery is coming on. And then let's go ahead and start up our APU down here. And the APU is starting now. Very good. So now, while that is going on, let's just move to the front for a bit over here and do the fire tests, which are looking good. We can also reset the warning down here. And then our APU should almost be there. And that is looking excellent indeed. Alright, so the APU start is completed. Generators are coming on, and we can see the fuel gauges are coming alive over here. Very good. Then let's go ahead and make sure we got the APU selected on all the sides. The galley power can come on, and the radio master switches are coming on as well. With that, for now, let's move back to the captain's seat over here. And before we go into any of the pre-flight items, let's go ahead and load our aircraft. So we are doing that through the aircraft menu, flight performances, mass and balance. So we got full seating over here, then we've got 17,500 pounds over there. And now for the fuel, this is where things are gonna get interesting. So let's go into the SimReef dispatch, have a quick look into our flight plan. Honolulu to Tokyo, Clipper 817, and that's gonna be 7 hours and 41 minutes. And they want us to take 138,000 pounds of fuel. Now the weather is looking quite okay, and this includes a lot of ETOPS fuel, actually 11,000 pounds of it. So I am totally happy to go with the minimum fuel here, which is going to be 137.5. Alright, so we're going to stay on pounds over here, and we're going to go with 137.5. It tells us we're above the maximum gross weight, however we are not. So looking over here and looking over here, actually should be at about 10,000. Oh, there's something wrong down here. There's definitely something wrong. With 17,000 pounds, we should be totally fine at this weight. So I'm gonna disregard that stuff. Let's go ahead and load the aircraft. Here we go. Load it. And that's it. Alright, cool. So just why I'm so confident that this gotta be wrong. If you look down here, the actual airplane weights are a lot less than what the EFB says, so probably a small buck there. And if you look down here, got 114 passengers and even more cargo than what I just loaded into the aircraft. So yeah, don't ask me what's going on there. Gotta be something messing up, but tell you honestly, we need the fuel and we need the payload, and the rest of it gotta have some buck involved somewhere. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into our pre-flight over here. I'm gonna turn those panel lights all the way up because, well, we want to be able to see something on our panel, right? And it is fairly dark outside with those overcast clouds. Then, map warning test, map trim test, all looking good. Then we can go down to the stabilizer trim, let's turn that off. And here we go, system is not responding. Excellent, then we can turn them back on again. Going back to the overhead panel. Got it, looking good, looking good. Emergency light on, seatbelts going on, yaw damper on, and on the side over here the window heat can go into low mode. Pitot heat is checked and operative, and the nav lights are coming on. Alright, going down to our main panel. Down here all the switches are set. Up here everything is looking good. That's good. And on the other side the radio altimeter is tested as well. Now, weather radar can go on to 5 degrees above and remains off. The rest is looking good down here. And then transponder should of course be on 2000 and standby. Alright, nav radius to be set up later, and all the rest down here is done. Then let's move back onto the flight engineers panel and get a bit of work in here as well. Up here everything is looking good. For the fuel pumps we are gonna test them all. Alright, forward pumps are working. Then let's test the aft pumps. Alright, they're all working as well. Fantastic, we're gonna keep one of them for the APU. Okay. Then we got our thrust feed valves, all of which are looking good. So, fuel quantity test, gauge test is looking good. Number 1 tank is selected. Now, let's go down here. For the systems, those are on, those are guarded. So, aux pump 2. Low pressure light goes out, and the rudder hydraulic pressure comes on. Looks good. And then system number 1 is looking good. Parking brake released. Parking brake set. And that is looking good. Alright, interconnect valve off, AC pump 1 stays on, engine vibration monitor, looks good on 1, looks good on 2. Then we've got our oil quantities, looking good. Flight number is gonna be Pan Am 817 once again, and we're flying this on the 14th. Alright, then we can do the door warning test, which is good. The oxygen is good. Let's put the panel brightness up. Alright, for the cruise level, we are initially going to flight level 100. Did I say 100? I did of course mean 300, so we set 2000 higher than that. Okay, mode selector and landing, and we can see the outflow valves opening just like they should. All looking good, and up here everything is set, everything is looking good. Fantastic, so that's our pre-flight completed. So let's go right back into the captain station, and from here we got a couple of things to do. We're gonna start this by programming our FMS. Okay, so initial position and date are looking good, we can accept that. Then let's go for our flight plan. We are leaving Honolulu and we are going to depart from runway 8 left, so that's number 5, enter. And our departure is the Keola 3 departure as far as I recall. Yep, it is, towards Lilia. So, Keola 3, that's number 1, enter. And Lilia transition is number 3, enter. Looks good, here we go. So, then we'll proceed our cannon. And accept. Then we proceed our dogif. Enter and accept. Then we proceed direct 26 north, 170 west. So that's 20 and 70 as far as I recall. Let's see. Yep, 20 north, 170 west. But it should have been 26 north. Return. Let's try that again. 26 and 70. Yeah, 26 north, 170 west. That looks good. Accept that. Then we continue towards 32 north, 180 east. So that's going to be 32 and 80. Or not. Then it's going to be 32 Echo 80. Also not. Huh, that's interesting. How do you correctly call that waypoint in the nav database? Alright, if we can't get it that way, then we have to find a little trick there. Let me show you one through SimBrief. So if you're unsure of how those waypoints are called in the database, you can always go to SimBrief. You enable the waypoint viewer over here. Now we find the waypoint in question, so that's going to be this one. I'm going to scroll all the way in and go onto the high altitude IFR chart. Down here you can see it, 32 Echo 80. That's the name of the waypoint. Alright, so let's go back out of here, and 32 Echo 80. Enter. Yep, that's it. Alright, enter. Then let's continue. The next one is going to be 37 Echo 70. And that's 37 north, 170 degrees east. Looks good. Then we continue by 38 Echo 60. So 38 north, 160 degrees east. Looks good. Then we continue via 36 E50. 36 north, 150 degrees east. Looks good. Accept. Then via Seals. Enter, looks good, and then list, airway, other 13, and we'll follow that one towards Lapel. Alright, then we got Yankee 811, so list, airway, Yankee 811 is number 2, and we follow that one towards Nogigs, which is number 3, and then Yankee 807 Polex. Like that. Alright, so that's how I always entered. Then we got our destination, and that is Romeo, Juliet, Tango, Tango. Enter and accept, and then menu, arrive. We'll be landing on 3-4 left, according to the plan, so let's enter that. Our arrival is the Pollux 1 Charlie arrival, and that is up here, number 21. Okay, and we have no transition for that one. The approach will be an ILS Zulu approach, so let's select that, and we'll take the cream transition on that one. Right, return to the flight plan, and that's our entire arrival entered. Alright, now that we got that, let's go on to the... where is it? Fuel fields. So we have 114 passengers. We have 17,000 pounds of cargo. Giving us a gross weight of, look at that, looks completely correct again. So I'm really not sure what is going on with that load page in the EFB here. Definitely seems to be something wrong there. I mean, look at that. The passengers seem to weigh like double of what they should weigh. Yeah, average passenger mass 400. That's the problem. Alright, let's make that 200. Alright, done. And now would you look at this, suddenly our weights are looking good as well. Alright, cool. So, load aircraft, load immediately. This is much, much better, isn't it? Cool. So now that we got that, let's just enter the fuel figures here. So, alternate fuel is 11731. Then our holding fuel, that's basically the final reserves there, is 4946. And the extra fuel down there, that's going to be our contingency, 4529. Alright, that's all looking good. The rest of it doesn't really need anything there, so that's all looking good as well. Alright, fantastic. With that, we are done setting our FMS up, radar vector departure, and then we can just find our departure chart real quick here. So let's go into the Navigraph charts. Alright, unload the previous flight. import from SimBrief, and that's gonna be our latest flight. Okay, Keola 3 departure. Radar vectors down to the south, and then we proceed via Keola direct to Lilia. Okay, and in the FMS, we got runway 8 left, radar vectors, direct Keola, and then to Lilia. So our SID is looking good. Fantastic. Do we have any initial climbs on here? No altitude from the looks of it. Then we're gonna get that from ATC, and ATC is a pretty good word over here. 127.9 is gonna be our ATIS. Let's go ahead and get that.
Heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information whiskey. Daniel K. Anuya International Airport, information whiskey. 0853 Zulu. Arriving and departing runways 8 left, 8 right, 4 left. Wind 050 at 14 gusting 23. Visibility 10. Few at 2200. Scattered at 3000. Broken at 3700. Temperature 27. Dew point 22. Altimeter 29 or 9 or 4. Density altitude 1400 feet. Unknown drone activity in the vicinity of the airport. TACAN out of service. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information whiskey.
Okay, cool. Whiskey's on board. Then let's call delivery and pick up our IFR clearance. So, 1214, think that is correct. Just a very quick check though. Yeah, 1214 is correct. Alright, fantastic. Honolulu delivery Clipper 817 heavy information whiskey request IFR clearance to Tokyo.
Clipper 817 heavy cleared to Tokyo Haneda via the Keola 3 departure. Radar vectors Keola then is filed. Initial climb to 5,000. Departure on 118.3. Squawk 4756. Expect runway 8 left.
Clipper 817 is cleared to Tokyo via the Keola 3 departure, then is filed. Climb maintain 5,000. Departure 118.3. Squawk 4756. Expecting runway 8 left.
Clipper 817 heavy, read back correct.
Okay, fantastic. So we've got 5,000 and the Keola 3 departure. Departure 118.3. I can't really pre-select that in the 707, but that's okay. Com 2 can go to 1215 then, and squawk 4756. Alright, so that's all set, then we're ready to go up here. So let's go ahead and do our takeoff performance calculations, and then we are done. So you can see a little difference here on the 707 with the FMC, is that we do of course not have the INS tab. But we do have the data cards, and that is what we need here. So set the box, set the trim. And then everything is set up down here. So let's just quickly say hello to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon again from the flight deck. My name is Emmanuel and I'm your captain on our journey to Tokyo. We are looking at a flight time of 7.5 hours, expecting a smooth ride with an on-time arrival. Thank you very much for being our guest. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. If there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew members. The cabin crew will shortly perform the safety demo. Please do pay your full attention, as it's not just for your own safety, but also for the safety of the other passengers sitting around you. Thank you very much for your attention, and once again, welcome aboard. Alright, so everyone is briefed, then let's go ahead and get our airplane ready. With the before start checklist. Cockpit preparation complete, emergency flaps off, Mach airspeed warning checked, anti-skid is checked and on, radar and spoiler switches on, emergency lights on, no smoking seatbelts on, compass controller mode selector switch slaved, radio altimeters checked, yaw damper engaged, window heat low, pneumatic brakes checked, flight director altimeter and flight instruments cross-checked, compasses synced and cross-checked, instrument transfer switch normal, radio radius and transponder set and standby, start levers cut off, park and brake set, rudder and aileron trims 3 and 0, battery on, fuel 139,000 pounds are set for start, and air conditioning unit off. Before start checklist complete to engine start. Alright, so far so good. Then let's go ahead and prepare the position for pushback and departure. And then we're gonna be ready. Clipper 817 Heavy, request pushback and startup.
Clipper 817 Heavy, push and start approved, tail north.
Push and start approved, tail north, Clipper 817 Heavy. Okay, below the line. Galley power off. Start pressure. Is at 30 psi, beacon on, before start checklist complete. Alright, then let's just quickly remove the chocks down here. And then we're ready to go. So, ground from cockpit. Hi there, please confirm that all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. All confirmed. Roger, you are clear to push, facing south, and the park and brake is set. Roger, stand by. So what's the runway heading here? 079. Might as well pre-select that real quick. Okay, ground. Push and start are approved, and the park and brake is... okay, they can only do facing on Zulu, then we gotta go face west. Okay. The park and brake is now released, you're clear to push. And we are starting engines 3, 4, 2, 1 in that sequence. Commencing engine 3 start now. Clear 3.
Engine start valve open.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Pan Am Flight 817, departing from Daniel K. Inouye International Airport and heading to
15% N2, lever to start.
We kindly ask that you take your seats and pay close attention to the upcoming safety demonstration, which contains important
So, if you're wondering why you do not see anything, or rather why you see something rotating, but why you've got these static things in front of the engine, that's actually normal, because you do have, I think those are called inlet guide vanes, on the older engines as well. Gotta be completely honest, not 100% familiar with all those terms, because, well, it's an old engine. that I'm probably never gonna fly in the real world, and if I would, then I would of course have to familiarize myself with it beforehand. Anyway, those static elements there are actually meant to be there.
In case of evacuation, please leave all
15% and 2. Leverage to start.
safety instructions from the crew immediately. If any electronic device becomes hot or catches fire, please inform the crew members right away.
Oil pressure rising.
Card in your seat pocket contains all details. Thank you for your attention, and we wish you a pleasant
Starter release. %, and 2. Lever tight.
Alright, then we got a good start on number 4, starting number 2.
Engine start valve. %, and 2. Lever to start. Oil pressure rising. Starter release. %, and 2. Lever tight.
Okay, pushback completed, set brakes. Brake set. And we got a good start too, starting 1.
Engine start valve. %, and 2. Lever to start. Oil pressure rising.
What's a little strange here is that we have almost 0 and 1 by the time that the N2 is like really high already, and that we even have an EGT. Think what would have been happening in the engine over here if we had temperatures of several hundred degrees in the core of the engine, and if the front, which also includes the back of the engine, so basically the low pressure stage of the engine, would not be rotating, that heat would have nowhere to go, and that would pretty much immediately cause an engine fire. So the N1 rotation here seems too low during the engine start. Okay then, ground, we have 4 good starts, you're clear to disconnect, show me the pin, and have a wonderful day. Bye now. So that looks good. Okay. No, actually no, we gotta do that only after takeoff. So that's all looking good down here. Alright. Cool. So, then finally, let's shut that APU down. And that's it. Alright. Cool. After start checklist, ground equipment clear, hydraulics, pressure quantity, normal interconnect closed, doors closed, after start checklist complete. Clipper 817 Heavy, request taxi.
Clipper 817 Heavy, contact ground on 121.9er for taxi instructions.
119 on Clipper 817. Honolulu ground, Clipper 817 Heavy, request taxi.
Clipper 817 Heavy, runway 8 left taxi via Zulu Alpha.
Romeo 8 left, taxi via Zulu and Alpha, Clipper 817 heavy. Alright, Zulu, Alpha, to the full length. Good. So we're clear on the left, and we are clear on the right. Let's go.
Ground Alaska 1155, taxi to the gate. Alaska 1155, taxi to parking via Sierra Delta Zulu Golf. Sierra Delta Zulu Golf, Alaska.
Wow, we do need a lot of power over here. 50% N1 is the maximum for a taxi. And we pretty much need that. Alright, I do count 2 aircraft at the holding point. The one that's ahead of us is an inbound, as far as I can tell.
181 ready for push. Delta 181, push back approved. Push back approved, Delta 181.
Well, and over there is the modern day equivalent of a 4-engine ride from Hawaii to Tokyo. Even though I have a feeling that those guys over there actually came to Hawaii because they wanted to go to Hawaii, and not because they had to stop for refueling. Nonetheless, fantastic airplane, the A380. Especially in that livery. They don't have many of them over at All Nippon, I think just 2 or so. So the pilots do fly on 2 type ratings, on the A380 as well as another type, which I believe is the A350 with them, but I may be mistaken about that. Could also be an A330 or something. Alright. So, flight control track. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and the rudder works and response. We've already felt that. Looks good. Okay, for the takeoff briefing, it's a left seat takeoff, runway 08 left, flaps 14, noise abatement procedure number 2, radar vector departure initially, and we've got takeoff speeds of 148, 153, 168, and the SID goes straight at with probably a right-hand turnout. We'll see about that. Yeah, apart from that, nothing special. Nothing non-standard, and that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions on the briefing? Nope. Alright, cool.
Hold short of runway 26 right, Delta 181.
So, that guy with the Thrid Guy's jet is going. Then 2 717s ahead of us. One of the last places on Earth where you can actually see them in action. It's too bad we don't have a livery for them. Alright, before takeoff checklist. Nacelle anti-ice, off, ground start switch, off, yaw damper checked, window heat low, probe heaters on. Okay, flight director, flight instruments and radios are set for departure. Speed brake lever forward, flaps 14, step trim set, flight controls checked. Then electrical is checked. Galley power on, fuel set for takeoff, fuel heaters off, hydraulic, pressure and quantity normal, APU door open light out,
Contact tower on 118.1, bye-bye.
118.1, Clipper 817 heavy. Okay, cockpit door locked, and takeoff briefing and data reviewed, and bugs set. Alright, down to the line. Honolulu Tower, Clipper 817 heavy, ready for departure.
Clipper 817 heavy, Honolulu Tower, runway 8 left, hold short. You're number 3 behind the 717.
Holding short, 0 left, Clipper 817. Well guys, might take a short while for those guys to depart, so let's do the same we did on our last ride here, and just fast forward that a bit. And then I'll see you all later when we're actually ready to go. Alright, the Alaska over there just got his takeoff clearance. So then, I'd say it's our turn now. Let's taxi forward to the runway, and then I'm expecting our clearance, like any moment.
Clipper 817 heavy, runway 8 left, line up and wait.
Runway 8 left, line up and wait, Clipper 817 heavy. Alright, so unless he says anything different, it's a right-hand turn, heading 180. Before takeoff, checklist below the line, air can press. Set for takeoff, transponder. Is on, engine start control selectors are set, landing lights on, before takeoff checklist complete. Wow. That's some pretty bad weather up there. Anything on the radar? No. Actually, yeah, there it is. Okay. Well, that's gonna be interesting. Oh, no, let's not overdo this. Okay. Good, probably waiting for one inbound on the 04s.
Clipper 817 heavy, hold position 737 max on the runway.
Okay, I don't really see that 737 max, but it's got to be the parallel runway. Must be a little bug here. In any case, straight ahead, there is some terrain there. So at 500 feet, right hand turn 180. And then cross the Coco at radial 240. Error above 2500. 39. Yeah, I knew I forgot to set that. Here we go. Flight director set to 10 degrees.
November 11 Charlie, uniform, hold short of runway 4 right.
4R holding short, November 11 Charlie, uniform.
Clipper 817 heavy, hold position 737 max on the runway.
No. There is no aircraft on the runway. AI.
Clipper 817 heavy, hold position 737 max on the runway.
No. Like, where do you see an airplane?
All aircraft information Yankee is now current. Altimeter 29093.
Okay, 29093.
November 11 Charlie, uniform, hold short of runway 4 right.
4R holding short, November 11 Charlie, uniform.
Clipper 817 heavy, hold position 737 max on the runway.
Okay, I'm done with it. I'm gonna take off without clearance. So, timing and takeoff.
Clipper 817 heavy, runway 8 left, wind 050 at 11, gusting 17. Fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Fly runway heading, runway 8 left, clear for takeoff, Clipper 817 heavy.
Takeoff power set. 8 left.
Tracked.
November 11 Charlie, uniform, hold short of runway 4 right.
4R holding short, November 11 Charlie.
Leave on. Rotate. Positive rate.
You're up. Okay, let's decrop slowly. Here we go. So, heading 180.
Clipper 817 heavy, contact departure.
Over to departure, Clipper 817 heavy. So, that's 1183. Departure low, Clipper 817 heavy, passing 1500, climbing 5000, heading 180. Alright.
Clipper 817 heavy,
Acceleration
ATF
altitude.
departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 10,000, turn right heading 260, direct Keola when able, then own navigation.
Climb maintain 1000, right heading 260 to Keola when able. Clipper 117 heavy. Alright, I will continue with a little bit of manual flight here, because we didn't do too much of it on the last leg.
Select flight zone.
No, please select 1000. Like that. Alright, speed 250 is set. We're easily meeting all the altitude restrictions, so that's good. Okay. So, the weather radar is clear in our flight path. The right-hand side is looking rather bad though. But that is, generally speaking, okay. And we're getting out of the weather. Fantastic. Alright. Autopilot on. Heading. And then let's make sure we pitch it right. Probably still climbing a little fast right now. But here we go. Getting better. Okay, cool. So, direct Keola should be possible now. Direct 2, Keola is number 3. And enter. Nav. Should be roughly this heading. Probably just some slight turn.
Clipper 817 heavy, climb and maintain 12,000.
Climb and maintain 12,000, Clipper 817 heavy. Set. 12,000 checked. Alright, getting out of the clouds. Lovely. Yeah, not the best weather over here. And probably not the most environmental friendly either, but who cares? Okay, so we are reaching level 100.
Approach County 5960.
Up to 300 knots, please.
County 5960, Honolulu approach, roger. Clipper 817 heavy, contact Honolulu Control Facility Center on 126.5. Friendly 5.
1265, Clipper 817, bye-bye. Honolulu, good afternoon, Clipper 817 heavy, 10,500, climbing 11,000. Correction, 12,000.
Clipper 817, Honolulu Control Facility Center. Good afternoon. Climb and maintain flight level 200.
Climb maintain level 200, Clipper 817 heavy. Set. And 200 is checked. Alright! So then let's just pitch up a little bit to maintain approximately 300 knots for the climb. I did just accelerate a bit here because I didn't want to have to reduce thrust and then increase it again. You know that game. So I think for the time being, this is all we can do up front over here. Then let's quickly walk to the back and have a very quick look over here. Fuel boost pumps are on and the cabin is pressurizing normally. The heaters are turned on and operating. And let's put the temperature to 75 Fahrenheit. And all the rest is looking fantastic. Well then guys, sit back, relax and enjoy the flight with us. And I see you on the other side when we start the approach to Tokyo.
817 Heavy, turn left heading 200, descend and maintain 8,000. Vectors for the ILS Zulu runway 34 left approach.
Left heading 200, descend and maintain 8,000. Vectors for the ILS Zulu runway 34 left approach. Clipper 817 Heavy.
Alright guys, you heard it. We are receiving vectors for the ILS approach runway 34 left. And we are descending to an altitude of 8,000 feet here for an ILS approach to runway 30, direction 34 left. So let's go ahead and get down over here, and then we can have a very quick look into our plan for the approach. So first of all, the arrivals are a little messed up here. We're coming in like this. That's probably the reason why ATC is giving us vectors even 50 miles out. Now let's go ahead and start with a bit of a setup tour over here. ILS Zulu approach, runway 34 left is what we're expecting. Final port course 337. I just accidentally deselected that here. So as you can see, looking at this, the airport is located around about 12 o'clock, 43 miles. So we'll be flying straight ahead around the airport and then back onto the ILS approach. So we're coming in, well, what's that, like 030, so from somewhere up here, then vectors like this onto the approach. Now, MSA wise, we got 3100 in that sector that we're coming from, around Tokyo VOR 117.4, which I've tuned active on DME and VOR number 2. And that's the one that I'm using for navigation at the moment. Well, apart from that, let's have a quick look at the engineers panel back here. Kind of kept things dark, but let's go ahead and actually turn up a little bit of panel background light here as well. So for the fuel, we're at 30,000 pounds right now, and that is plenty of gas. Now, remember from the flight plan, we have a diversion fuel of about 17,000 pounds, so we are looking at 45 minutes of extra fuel that we currently have for our arrival. Okay, so far so good. Then let's go ahead and set the QNH, please, which is 1012. Here we go, cross-check, passing 12,100. Now, checked. Alright, so fasten belt and no smoking signs are coming on. I don't think we have a logo light in the aircraft. Nope. We actually don't. Okay. Well, and that's the important part of our setup cross-check. So, for the ILS approach, 1117, 337 degrees, which is set over here and set down here. And then we go down to a minimum of 218, and that equals 200 radio, which I've pre-selected down here. Alright. The speeds are selected for flaps 40 approach. If we have a quick look into the 707 app, you can see that over here, and we can also switch this one to a dark app, to a dark side now. So here we go. The speeds are all selected, and we go around EPR 1.79 pre-selected as well. What else can we do here? Well, let's have a quick look into the runway that we're about to land on. So we are going to land on 34 left, which is 9,843 foot runway. Vacate the runway to the left-hand side, probably via Lima 12, and then we taxi down here to the main apron. And yeah, it's a little hard to tell where they would have parked in the real world, because obviously we're simulating a 1968 flight over here, and the airport's kind of been rebuilt, but I think Terminal 3 is realistic down here, especially because we also have the International Cargo Terminal next to it, and remember, we are flying a combi airplane. Alright, so we're going through level 100 over here. So let's start slowing down. Like this. The radar can be tilted down a bit as well, but there's just some stuff up to the west, which is not going to be a problem for us. Alright.
Heavy speed below 250, please.
Reduce it to 250, clip 817.
Reducing speed.
Okay, my radios. So the airport is 22 miles off on the right hand side, so probably down there. That's Tokyo over here. Beautiful. Just beautiful. The only thing that looks a little strange to me is how the wing is completely bright all the way to its roots, and then you got the dark fuselage next to it. Like, from this side it looks a lot more believable, doesn't it? But unfortunately not so cool, because the lights of Tokyo aren't in the background. Alright. Overall, from the flight deck it looks best anyway. Okay, so here we are at 250 knots, so let's continue that descent. Okay, down to 8,000, so that's approximately 1,000 to go. So 1,000 feet a minute over here is looking fantastic. We are receiving the ILS as well by now. And then it's just a quick round around Tokyo. There's our airport. And then we'll fly around like this and approach in that direction. Absolutely fantastic night lighting, by the way. Absolutely fantastic. And, really gotta say, the FMS did an awesome job flying us here. So, if you want to play around with those panel lights for a bit, of course have those that we can turn all the way bright. That's just, you know, illuminating the gauges a little brighter. And then we could turn the forward floodlight off. Could turn the red dome lights on. Looks pretty cool, even though, completely honest, don't see the reason in this right now. Alright, so let's actually get those back to the middle. Something like that. I think that looked best, didn't it? Like this. Okay, so we're maintaining 8,000. We're going to maintain 250 knots here. 707 does not have an auto throttle, but doesn't really need one, to be honest. Because it's fairly easy to control the airspeed. Left 105, clip 817. Okay, heading 185. Now, if there is one thing that I would like to do, it would be to make the sounds of the throttles a little less audible. Alright, let's dim the weather radar a little bit. Also the FMS. So this looking better, isn't it? VNAV is not available in here, by the way. We still have to do that manually, but it's actually fairly easy, isn't it? So, passing beam the field, 15 nautical miles out, and indeed we can see the field on the right-hand side down there. What a beautiful time of the day to arrive. What a fantastic time indeed. Okay. So, I think we have a couple of checklists to complete. Let's go for that. So, descent and approach checklist. Pressurization. Landing altitude 0 feet set. RTI is off. Coolant valves open. Clipper 817 is only 6,000. Alright, 6,000, down we go. Alright, cool. So, coolant valves open, circuit breakers checked, seatbelt switches on, landing lights. Are on, EPR and airspeed box set. Altimeters 1012 set and cross checked, radio altimeter set, flight directors, flight instruments and radio set checked. Fuel is set for landing, hydraulics, pressure and quantity normal, descent and approach checklist complete. Something you have probably noticed on this one compared to many of the other flights I do, by the way, I am going to turn the retractable landing lights off here. Or am I? No. I was just wondering about that wide part of the window over here, because that is definitely a bug. Looks a little strange, to be honest. That's the landing lights shining onto the flight deck, but looks like something with the light system in the back there seems to be rather problematic and doesn't shield the lights off. Like, there is absolutely no reason why the outline...
817, turn right heading 290.
Heading 290, clip 817. Like, there is no reason why the window frame should be illuminated over here. Okay, so we're getting into the southern part.
817 heavy, 5 miles from Apollo. Turn right heading 270. Descend 5,000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS Zulu runway 34 left approach.
Right, 270, descend 5,000 until established. Cleared ILS Zulu runway 27, correction 34 left. Clipper 817. Okay, Warlock armed. Okay, so MSA-wise, we're in the 2,500 region over here. Checked. Ooh, that's gonna be an overshoot. That's gonna be an overshoot. Yeah. No comment on that. Nope, where are you turning? Definitely gonna stay in that turn. Autopilot off. Alright, we can see the runway ahead of us. It's the left of the two runways that we are going to land on. Alright then, let's start slowing down.
Clipper 817, contact Tokyo Tower on 118.1.
118.1, Clipper 817. Alright, slightly above the glide. Speed brakes out. Tokyo Tower, Clipper 817 heavy, ILS 34 left.
Clipper 817 heavy, Tokyo Tower, roger. Continue approach runway 34 left.
Alright, 12 knots out, time to slow down. So right now the challenge is to find the delicate balance between intercepting the glide slope, which we're a dot above, and reducing our airspeed. But if we do not reduce our airspeed in time, then we will not be able to get additional drag like the flaps and the gear down.
220 knots, set flaps 14.
Okay, flaps 14. And gear down. That should hopefully give us sufficient drag to intercept that glide slope properly. Alright, go around altitude 5,000 is set.
195 knots, set flaps 25.
Flaps 25. Okay. Speed brakes are retracted. Okay, set the approach speed, please.
Clipper 817 heavy, runway 34 left, wind 060 at
Runway 34 left, clear to land, Clipper 817 heavy. Alright, flaps 40. Alright, for the landing checklist, gear down, flaps 40, landing checklist complete. So, the weather is just perfect over here. Flying 140 knots plus a little bit of wind. So we should be at about 750 feet a minute here to maintain the glide. So let's just glue the airplane onto that. And I think this is looking quite good now. Okay, so we're gonna vacate the runway to the left-hand side. Checked. That road on the left side there looks a lot like a runway, doesn't it? If you're in really bad weather, in some lovely typhoon or so, I could absolutely imagine how someone might accidentally land there. Checked, and we're on the puppies. Continue.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Thruster is normal. Knots.
Clipper 817, contact ground on 122.075.
122.075, Clipper 817. Alright, and here we are. So, please set the frequency for me. Ground hello, Clipper 817 Heavy, request taxi to the gate. Yep, simulator lagging. Hello? Here we are.
Clipper 817, taxi to Terminal 2, Gate 51 right, via Lima 13, Bravo, Papa, Mike, Lima, Lima 14, hold short of runway 16 right.
No, I don't like that. We want to go somewhere down here. In that case, let's just find the parking chart and taxi there on our own. Yeah, this is what we're looking for. Gate 10... something down here. Give me 109. Actually, we're in a combi. Let's make it 103. Clipper 817, request taxi to gate 103.
Clipper 817, taxi to International Cargo 103 via Lima Papa 8. Good day.
Lima Papa 8 to the gate, Clipper 813. Good day. Okay, that sounds a lot better. Then let's go ahead and select our gate down here. (103), there it is. No follow me, handling by escort. That looks fantastic. Alright, cool. So then let's go for the after landing procedures. So, I'm gonna leave the external lights on because it's just so incredibly dark outside. Taxi light don't really make a difference either here. Just for the sake of it, what would it look like? Well, can't see a lot here, huh? So yeah, let's just keep those. Just for the sake of it. Okay, cool. So those are in, then speed brakes in, flaps are coming in, transponder off, weather radar off. Then probe heat switches off, window heat switches off. Okay, and then we can just go to the back for a bit. And down here, APU start. Okay. So, I'm gonna go right over here. It says Papa 4 on the sign, but that's definitely not correct. This is Papa 8, because it's right in front of the cargo terminal, and there is our ground staff. Okay, so finding the point where we are turning into the gate is going to be a challenge. So, taxi lights are off. Or rather, landing lights are off. Taxi lights are going to stay on, that way around. So here's 102, and the next one's going to be 103. And here it is. Okay, that's our marshaller. And stop. Alright, park and brake is set. Then let's just quickly get the lights on. Alright, here we go. This is much better. Good. So, for the shutdown, APU generator on. And here we go, both on the APU, generator on. This should, in theory, put the entire thing online. Might as well just use the ground power, though. Okay. So we got those. The rest of the electrical system is already set. You can absolutely go off. Fuel pumps, only one per tank, please. Like this, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And there is no reason for the AC power to go out now. We have both the APU generator as well as the external power. But for some reason, neither of the two is feeding the system. Nope, neither of the two works to feed the AC system. It's a little strange. But yeah, we've got to live with what we got. Alright, so bacon off and fasten belts off. Emergency lights off, and that's it. Okay. At least I think it is. Let's read the checklist and see what we have forgotten. So, shutdown checklist. Electrical? Yeah, we tried, but isn't working. Seatbelt switch off, beacon off, exterior lights set, start levers cut off, park and brake is set, fuel boost pumps are off, and the AC aux pumps are off. Air conditioning units off, and that's the shutdown checklist completed. Well guys, with that, welcome to Tokyo. I hope you enjoyed our trip across the Pacific in the Boeing 707. Let me know your feedback in the comments underneath the video. Let's go ahead and offload our cargo over here. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below. And with that out of the way, thank you very much for watching. As always, like, comment and subscribe. And then I'm really looking forward to see you guys again on the next one.